Hi, welcome back to my channel, Emkie Sews. Today I want to talk to you about all the things I made in January, but I'd like to start with what I wear today. Today I'm wearing the Pattern Emporium Every Me tank, but in a dress. The pattern does come with a dress pattern, but I've lengthened it quite a bit so that it finishes mid-calf, and I'll pop a little picture in to show you what my outfit looks like today. This is a favourite. I wear it a lot on hot days, and today is hot. So let's get into what I made in January, shall we? So the first thing I made in January and finished was the Core Fabrics belt bag. And this is my finished bag. You can see I've put a cute little label on there with little twin stars. I bought that label when I went to Japan when I was in year 10. So many years ago. I've added on a cute zip, and I added a zip pocket into the lining that wasn't part of the pattern. Other changes I made to the pattern include on both ends I've added these mini triangles on both ends so that the strap can be fully taken off if I want to use the strap on another bag or something like that, and I just wear it on my chest like that. This was a practice bag because I wanted to make this bag in leather, and I've done so in February, so you'll have to wait for another video to see the leather version that I made, but I've been using the leather one quite a bit. Also, this bag was made from a pair of old jeans of mine, so I left the pocket on the back and added little snaps so you can open and close the pocket. Obviously jeans don't have a flap to close the pocket, but I didn't want anything falling out of there, so that was my first make. My second make in January was the Rise and Shine top by Pattern Emporium, and this is my version. I bought these two fabrics at the same time from a local op shop. The fabric I used is the muslin fabric, and because the muslin is see-through, I double layered it, so I used 2 meters of fabric for that top. But generally, if you're using a non-see-through fabric, you can get away with 1 meter, 1.5 meters, depending on your size. So here's a picture of me wearing the Rise and Shine top by Pattern Emporium. You can see that I added a patch onto the side down the bottom here, and the reason I added that was because I had a little accident with my unpicker there. So that is covering a tiny little hole, so it won't get any bigger. I see many more in my future because I really enjoy wearing that one and making it as well. So the next item I finished was the Fabric Godmother fleur top, and this is it. I'll put a picture of me wearing it right there. So I only had a meter of this fabric, so I had to severely decrease the length of the peplum to make it fit, and that was the only change I made, other than I decided to do the ties in a coordinating colour but in bias binding. So as you can see, the fabric has that very faint pink in it, and the bias binding is that pink colour as well, and I think they go really nicely together. The next item I finished in January was the Fabric Godmother fleur dress. So I talked about this a little bit in my last video, but I thought I'll give you a bit more in-depth look at the changes that I made to this version, because I did make a few changes. So I talked about last video how I'd added in a press stud to this bit. So there's that. The other change I made was I started with a 14 at the shoulders and graded out to an 18 under the arms. Normally I would have to do a full bust adjustment, but I found that that actually worked perfectly for me to give me extra room for my bust. I also lowered the neckline so that it didn't feel like I was choking. And the only other thing I added was I added an inch to the length of the bodice, just to make sure that it hit me at my natural waist. The problem with that is that over time this fabric with the weight of the skirt has grown, so I'm actually going to have to go back in and take some of that extra length that I put into the bodice out to make it sit properly where it's supposed to. But here's a photo of me wearing that dress. The next items I finished were packing cubes, and I personalised these packing cubes by putting the initial of the person on the top. So this is mine, obviously, Emma. I did foundation paper piecing to create the E. I'll leave a link to the pattern I used down below. I'll also leave a link for all the patterns that I've used in today's video down below as well. So this one's mine with an E. I also made a T for my oldest son, and I made an M for my youngest son, and I made a D for my husband. Each person chose their own fabrics, so all I had to do was sew it all up. We're going to use those packing cubes when we go away later in the year. The last items that I made in January I don't have anymore. They were given to my brother and his wife for my new nephew, so I'll just talk about them and I'll be putting pictures of what I'm talking about up just there. So the first item I made was some artwork for my nephew's wall. At the time when I started and finished this artwork, we didn't know if he was going to be a boy or a girl. I actually finished this just before the end of December, and my nephew was born on the 1st of January. I also made some clothes for my nephew. I made him a hat for our winter. I also made him 4 outfits with a top and a bottoms. For 0 to 3 months, I made him a t-shirt with 2 pairs of shorts, and I sewed onto the front of the t-shirt a iron-on patch, but I sewed it on so it didn't come off in the wash. And then for 3 to 6 months, I made him a t-shirt with long pants with little feet attached. For 6 to 9 months, I made him a long sleeve t-shirt with another pair of pants with feet attached. And for 9 to 12 months, I made him a t-shirt and another pair of shorts. The part of Australia where my brother lives is actually quite warm, so I'm hoping that he will need long sleeves and long pants for the middle part of the year, but who knows. I just really hope that they enjoy putting him in the clothes that I made. I liked making all the baby clothes, and it was a nice change from making garments for me. They were very easy. I didn't need to do any adjustments, unlike when I need to make things for myself. The last item I made for my nephew was a last minute item. I made him this soft book. I made it using a quilting panel that I actually bought when my now 13-year-old was 2. So it's fairly old. I had plans to turn it into a quilt when I had originally bought it. Then when my 10-year-old came along, I had plans to make it into a quilt for him. Neither of those things eventuated. So when I came across the fabric panel in my stash, I decided, well, this is the perfect opportunity to use it. So I made it into a soft book so it can go in the washing machine if it needs to. How I made it was, I made a kut sandwich, a picture from the panel, some wadding, and then another picture of the panel on the other side, sewed it together, like left a little gap, flipped it the right side out, and pressed it, and then sewed all the way around the quilt panel to make sure that it was all enclosed, and then I sewed them all together to create the book. I hope you enjoyed my January makes video. I'd really like it if you could comment with your favourite make from January and leave a link to the pattern in the comments, because I'm always looking for new things that I want to make. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time. And I basted in some wadding, I basted in some quilt backing. What's it called? Yeah, wadding. Quilt backing. Wadding. That was terrible. The next items that I finished were fabric cubes. Fabric cubes. I'd already...